It's January and you're staring at your business like it's a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. You know something needs attention, but where do you even start? Here's the truth. Most business problems don't announce themselves with flashing warning lights. They lurk in outdated contracts, expired licenses, and forgotten compliance deadlines. I'm Julie King with King Patent Law, and today I'm giving you a 7-point business checkup you can do this month to prevent problems before they start. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap for making sure your business foundation is solid. Let's get started. So why January? Why not wait until things slow down? Here's the problem we all know. Things never slow down, and the cost of ignoring foundational business hygiene compounds over time. Imagine discovering during a potential acquisition that your registered agent moved 3 years ago. You'd missed critical state notices, your business had been administratively dissolved without your knowledge, and you lose the deal. All of that could have been prevented with a 15-minute check once a year. This checkup focuses on the operational and legal health of your business, entity status, contracts, compliance, and licensing. This is not financial planning. That's important, but it's not what we're covering today. Think of this as the legal equivalent of changing your oil and checking your tire pressure. Boring? Maybe. Essential? Absolutely. Let's start with corporate housekeeping, the foundation that so many people ignore until it becomes a crisis. Now, I said corporate housekeeping, but this applies to all businesses, not just corporations. Point number 1 is verify your business entity is in good standing. If you formed an LLC or corporation, your state requires you to maintain good standing. That means you've filed all required reports and paid all necessary fees. Most states have an online portal where you can check your business status. In Illinois, it's the Secretary of State's Business Entity Search. Takes at most 2 minutes. What you're looking for is that your entity status should say something like active or in good standing. If you see not in good standing or delinquent, you have a problem. Here's why this matters. Operating while not in good standing can void your liability protection. It can prevent you from filing lawsuits, and it can create problems if you're trying to give a loan or sell the business. What are some common issues that cause problems here? Usually it's something like getting your annual report notice sent to a registered agent or your business address that is out of date. And so you don't get the notice and you simply forget to file. Here's your action step. Go to your Secretary of State's website right now and verify your status. If you're delinquent, file what's needed immediately. Point number 2 is confirm your registered agent information is current. Every LLC and corporation must have a registered agent, which is the person or service designated to receive legal documents and official correspondence on your behalf. That may be you, but it may be a separate entity. Sometimes it may be your lawyer. Here's what goes wrong. People use their own address when they form the business and then they move. Or they use a friend who moves. Or they use a service and forget to renew the service. If your registered agent information is wrong, you won't receive lawsuit notifications, tax notices, or state compliance deadlines. Imagine you used your business partner's home address as the registered agent address. Then that partner moves without telling anyone, and the business misses a critical lawsuit notification. By the time you found out, a default judgment had been entered against you for $75,000. Terrible, right? And it can be fixed so simply by this action step. Verify your registered agent's current address. If it's you, make sure it's a physical address where you'll reliably receive mail. If it's a service, make sure your subscription is current. Point number 3, review and update your operating agreement or bylaws. If you have an LLC, you should have an operating agreement, especially if you have more than one member. If you're a corporation, you should have bylaws. Now, when was the last time you looked at yours? If the answer is when we signed it, or worse, never, you're not alone. But life changes and your business changes, and your operating agreement should reflect your current reality. Here are some life changes that require updates. New partners joining, existing partners leaving, changes in ownership percentages, changes in management roles, or, especially important, death or incapacity of a member. If your operating agreement still lists a 50-50 ownership split, but one partner bought out the other 2 years ago, that is a problem waiting to explode. Here's your action step. Pull out your operating agreement or bylaws and read through it. Does it still reflect reality? If not, schedule time this month to update it. This is one area where you absolutely should involve a lawyer. Now let's talk about contracts and agreements, the paper trail that protects you. Point number 4 is audit your active contracts. Pull out every contract your business is currently operating under and ones you think your business is operating under. Client contracts, vendor agreements, leases, service agreements, loan agreements. Now ask yourself these questions. Are any of these contracts expired but still being operated under? This happens more often than you'd think. A 1-year contract ends, but both parties keep performing without signing a renewal. You've created ambiguity that could lead to disputes. Do any contracts have auto-renewal clauses you want to exit? Many contracts automatically renew unless you provide notice 30, 60, or 90 days before the renewal date. If you want out, you need to know those deadlines now in January. I've seen businesses stuck in expensive software contracts or service delivery contracts for another year because they missed that 60-day cancellation notice by 1 week. Are you still getting value from all these agreements? If a vendor relationship isn't working or a service you're paying for isn't being used, January is the time to evaluate whether to renegotiate or terminate. Here's your action step for this. Create a spreadsheet of all active contracts with 3 columns: contract name, expiration date, and cancellation notice requirement. Calendar reminders for 90 days before any important dates. Here's point number 5, employee and contractor documentation review. If you have employees or work with independent contractors, your documentation needs to be current and legally compliant. Laws change frequently, so you need to make sure that your contracts don't contain any impermissible clauses, and if they do, you need to update them. For contractors, do you actually have written agreements with all of them? Do those agreements clearly establish them as contractors and not employees? Do they include intellectual property assignment language? Here's why all of this matters. If your contractor creates something for you and there's no written agreement assigning the IP to you, it's possible they might own it. And are your contractors actually contractors, or should they be classified as employees? Misclassifying employees as contractors is one of the most common and expensive small business mistakes. And when it comes to employees, are your employment agreements current? Do you have confidentiality agreements in place? If you use non-compete agreements, are they reasonable and enforceable under current law? Many states have changed this in the past few years, so this is important to look at. Here's your action step. If you don't have written contractor agreements, create them this month. If you're not sure about employee versus contractor classification, consult with a lawyer who specializes in employment law, or consult your HR professional. Now let's talk about licenses and permits. Nobody gets excited about these except maybe, attorneys like me. But operating without them can shut down your business overnight. So here we get to point number 6. Business licenses and permits need to be reviewed. Most businesses need multiple licenses to operate legally. A general business license, professional licenses if you're in a regulated profession, industry-specific permits, sales tax permits if you sell products, occupational licenses, and so forth. Many of these require annual renewal, and if you miss the deadline, you're operating illegally, even if you didn't know the license expired. And if you operate in multiple cities or states, you need to check each one. I have clients who operate in multiple Illinois cities, and sometimes each city has its own business license requirement with its own renewal date. Here's your action step for licenses and permits. Make a list of every license and permit your business holds. Verify the expiration date for each one, and set calendar reminders for 30 days before renewal. Now we get to point number 7, insurance review. This isn't technically legal compliance, but it's critical risk management that belongs in your annual checkup. Types of insurance to review include general liability, professional liability, cyber liability, workers' compensation, commercial property, and business interruption. Here's some questions to ask. Are your coverage amounts still adequate for your business size? If you've grown significantly, your old policy might not cover your current exposure. Also, are your named insureds correct? If you've changed your business name or structure, the policy needs to reflect that. Are your beneficiaries up to date? Do any of your contracts, say for a loan, require the other party to be listed as a named beneficiary on your policy? And simply, is your contact information current? Imagine you've had your business triple in size, but your liability insurance still reflects the original policy limits. Something horrible happens and you face a claim discovering you are massively underinsured. But here's the action step to prevent something like that. Pull out your insurance policies, read the declarations pages. If you're not sure what they mean, contact your insurance agent. If your coverage doesn't match your current business reality, call your broker and update it. Now, I get it. You're busy. You might not have time to do all 7 of these checks this month. But if you can only spare 15 minutes, do these 3 things. Number 1, check your state business entity status online. 5 minutes tops. Go to your Secretary of State's website, search for your business, verify you're in good standing. If you're not, figure out what's needed to fix it. Number 2, calendar all renewal deadlines for the year. Maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. Grab your contracts, licenses, and insurance policies. Put every expiration and renewal date into your calendar with a 30-day advance reminder. This prevents you from missing critical deadlines. And number 3, verify your registered agent contact information. Another 5 minutes tops. Make absolutely sure your registered agent is still receiving mail at the address on file with state. If not, update that immediately. If you identify issues during this quick check, schedule time in February to do the full 7-point audit. But at least you'll have caught some immediate serious problems. Most of what I've described here you can do yourself. Checking your business status, reviewing contracts, and calendaring deadlines doesn't necessarily require legal expertise. But you should call a lawyer if your business is not in good standing and you're not certain how to fix it, if you need to update your operating agreement or bylaws, if you are not certain whether your contractors should be classified as employees, you discover you're operating without required licenses, your insurance coverage is inadequate and you need guidance, or you have contracts that need to be renegotiated or terminated and you want to avoid disputes. Think of it this way. The checkup is something you can do. The repairs might require the professional. Prevention is always cheaper than crisis management. A business checkup takes a few hours, usually. Fixing a problem that's been ignored for years can take months and cost thousands. Next week, we'll talk about the IP side of this equation, your beginning of year IP audit, because protecting what you've built matters just as much as maintaining the foundation. In the meantime, download the free business checkup checklist at kingpatentlaw.com so you have a step-by-step guide to work through. And if you discovered issues during your checkup that you're not sure how to handle, you can schedule a consultation at kingpatentlaw.com. We'll figure out what needs to be fixed and the most efficient way to do it. I'm Julie King with King Patent Law. Intellectual property is one of your most powerful business tools. If you're ready to build a strong business and brand and protect what you create, you don't have to figure it out alone. You can book your consultation with me at kingpatentlaw.com. I serve entrepreneurs across the U.S. You can find all my other content at kingpatentlaw.com/blog and on social media at kingpatentlaw. Finally, this information is for educational purposes only, is not legal advice, and doesn't form an attorney-client relationship. For advice about your specific situation, consult with a licensed attorney. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Avoid the legal horrors and keep rocking your IP.